It's time to dance with the devil as the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama descends on Hell. Just 10 kilometers south of the Norwegian coastline, Lankebanen has hosted Rallycross action almost yearly since its opening in 1988. Last year it was immortalized on the iRacing service and hosted 2 rounds of our 2020 World Championship. Tommy Holman is the defending race winner in Norway, and the Flying Finn is soaring high after taking victory 7 days ago in sunny Spain. Can he become the first 2-time champion here in Hell, or will someone else become a first-time winner in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship? We'll find out in the next 2 hours as we say hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network for Round 6 coverage in our 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, alongside, as always, is the wonderful Paul Smith, with Tyler Maxson in the production truck controlling all of the action. Paul, we've descended to the depths of Hell, and what a track lies in wait for the final race of our European swing. Plenty of elevation changes and a tricky mix of fast sweepers and slow technical corners. If last year's races are anything to go off by, this race is going to be full of action, and today is going to be a dramatic end to our European swing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the final race here in Europe, and certainly one that the drivers, they're not all looking forward to, if they're honest. It's a difficult track to overtake at. Joker will be key around here, and certainly it's going to be an intriguing round of the championship here.
And you take a look at these aerial shots, despite the fact that it is covered in gravel, 37% gravel, really was built as an asphalt circuit and transformed into what is now a historic rallycross venue. Here's a look then at our track map. Joker Delta, anywhere between 3 to 3.2 seconds. It's a long way around turn number 1. You will see cars on the outside of our start peeling off into that Joker on lap number 1. Do not be surprised though to see chaos on our opening laps, especially down into turn 1 and through that Joker as well. 2 races in 2020. Tommy Holman, our most recent winner here in Norway. Ilari Lamin-Sivu won in our season opener. I would not be surprised, Paul, if we see a third first-time winner being drawn into the history books here today. But you and I were talking before we came on air. It's been the case here in our World Championship so far. John Robertson, Tommy Holman, Joni Ollikainen. They have dominated so far. Let's see what they'll do. But first, it's time to have some fun. The All-Stars are ready to rumble. Yeah,
unfortunately we're missing one driver from the All-Stars, i.e. heat race winner from last week, myself, but I'm only going to milk that just a little bit throughout the rest of the season. But we have got a great field for you here today. 17 drivers taking part in the All-Stars, and Michael Kosick that we're on board with right now, sending it into the bottom of this track. That's a really, really tricky corner to get your braking right around.
And you want to make sure you're as close to the inside as well. It will give you the maximum grip to then launch yourself up the hill in towards these final couple of corners. With about 90 plus seconds left on our qualifying clock, Jamie Fluke, who will be competing in our IRX All-Star Invitational for the final time today, is with a 37.213 on provisional pole. We've got 2 eNASCAR stars here today. Last year's champion and this year's champion. It's our 2021 eNASCAR champion, Keegan Leahy, representing VRS Coanda Simsport, that joins us here today. But last year's champion, Nick Ottinger, second on the board, just less than a tenth behind Jamie Fluke. Great to have these names joining us here today, Paul, because we know just how strong these drivers are. They get a new challenge here today.
Yeah, and these drivers, they love this type of challenge, something that's completely different to what they're used to week in, week out. And the season's over, you know, you might as well just let your hair down and give it a go, and that's what we'll see right here. But we see this fight take part once again between Lee and Ottinger, so yeah, going to be interesting to see how they all get on. They know how to rough it up to those NASCAR boys.
Oh, they really do, that's for sure. Connor Daly in the US Air Force Subaru for Ed Carpenter Racing joins us once more today. This is the practice of the Joker that he'll be doing. You can see just how bumpy that entry is to the Joker as well. That's GoPro Lopez, winner 7 days ago. We've had 5 All-Star races, 5 All-Star winners as well. Pablo GoPro Lopez does lead our unofficial point standings, but given the way that these races are played out, you never know how things are going to go. Should also note that we've got 2 other new drivers. We saw Michael Cozy Jr. He's joined by his team boss in the Altus team house, Simon Feigl, all the way from the land down under. Qualifying comes to a close then for our All-Stars. It's time to take a look at the starting grid for heat number 1 in round 6 of the iRacing All-Star Invitational for 2021. And of course, this is an inverted grid, so you qualify at the front, you start at the back. Ron Capps and Connor Daly on the front row, alongside Parker Kligerman and Connor Martell. NASCAR experience on one side, Rallycross experience on the other. Parker Retzlaff and Jamie Fluke at the tail end of the field. And a bit different to what we've seen so far in 2021 here, Paul. Most of our races so far have had 2x2 starts. This is the first time that there'll be 3 abreast heading down into turn number 1.
Certainly will. And it's the outside lane. If you're in the outside lane heading down towards turn number 1, you need to be there and take the joker lap straight away, or else you are going to get bullied hard. So yeah, if you're on the outside line, take the joker lap straight away. That's what Jamie Fluke will be wanting to do at the far right of the grid.
So if he can get a good start like we've seen from him before, watch him to pop himself to the outside along with Parker Kligerman. Ready to rumble in Hell Lankebanen. The first of our heat races gets underway. It's a good launch from the front row. Great launch from Connor Daly. Not usually a standing start sort of a driver, but there we go. Jamie Fluke takes to the joker. Parker Retzlaff will follow him through. Safely through turn 1, the rest of the field in towards turn 2, and down the hill they'll plunge. Daly leads then. In second, it's Parker Kligerman. Ron Capps, not the best of launches, that Beetle down to 4th position.
Oh, look at them going deep, though, into the hairpin down the bottom of the hill. That's cost Parker a position. I am actually surprised that Parker didn't take to the joker lap straight away. So maybe a few drivers thinking that the shenanigans from last week is the same. It's not the same. You can take that joker straight away.
They're actually talking about that in the session. I see Trevor Teal saying that you can take the joker on the start. Bit more argy-bargy. Parker Kligerman elbows out there. Connor Martell, lots of rallycross experience for him. Don't necessarily think he'll be accustomed to racing with someone like Parker Kligerman. Just behind these guys as well, Jamie Fluke already onto the back of Ron Capps. Clearly some pace in that Apex racing machine. Fluke being chased down by Parker Retzlaff, who won back in round number 1. Looking rearwards then from Kligerman. Martell, what will he want to do here? I would not be surprised if one of these 2 jokers this time around.
It's such a lottery as the joker here. As you mentioned, you've got that bumpy entry into the joker lap, and all 3 of them are staying on this lap as Ron Capps takes to the joker lap this time by Kligerman. Getting the back end out, and that's just checked up Connor Martell. And Jamie Fluke, he's bearing down on them. Nice move down the inside there from Martell.
And that's that rallycross experience, I would have to think. Of course, the 2018 ARX2 Drivers Champion, then finished in 3rd the next year in that very same championship. These 3 cars in a bit of trouble because there you see already Jamie Fluke 2 seconds behind. So Jamie Fluke looking pretty good to slot his way into first as Connor Daly will take to the joker. Parker Kligerman follows him through. Connor Martell, last minute decision there. It's going to cost them some time. Fluke will take the race lead. Retzlaff slots into second, but Daly right behind him. It's going to be an almighty scrap over these next 2 laps. Martell
really should have just stuck with his decision there. By changing his mind halfway through the corner, that's cost him time there, and he'll be ruining that, that's for sure. Fluke and Retzlaff, they're running away at the front here, but it's this battle here. Connor Daly getting bumped about a little bit, and Martell's going to go the long way around. You get a good launch out the corner if you go the long way. White flag out.
So 1 more lap. Fluke and Retzlaff do look comfortable. 2 seconds between the top 2, and then a further second back to Parker Kligerman. Kligerman, Martell, and Daly put on a show. But as we know, even though this is a contact sport, a cage match on wheels, contact never the fastest way around the track, and has allowed Fluke and Retzlaff, after their first lap jokers, to head towards our 10-lap feature. Of course, we'll see 12 cars in our feature, so Plenty of opportunity for the rest of the field to come on through, but Jamie Fluke across the line, he wins heat number 1. Here from Hell Lankebanen, Parker Retzlaff will follow him through. Parker Kligerman, Connor Martell, and Connor Daly all heading to the last chance qualifiers. And bringing up the rear, Ron Capps, who has been electric at times in his VW Beetle. For the Napa Auto Parts VW Beetle, struggling a little bit here. Here are your race results from heat number 1. Already getting locked and loaded for heat number 2. Let's take a look at our Yokohama starting grid, where we'll see Ryan Vargas and Justin Melillo on the front row. Daniel Dye returns to competition today alongside debutant Michael Cozy Jr. His team manager starts alongside him. Plenty of intrigue for the Altus guys watching on. They'll have 2 drivers in our World Championship competing later on. And your 2020 eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series champion Nick Ottinger joins the grid today. He'll start back in 6th position outside of row number 2. The blueprint has already been laid, so Daniel Dye, Nick Ottinger would not be shocked to see them onto the Joker first time around. Some great racing there in heat number 1, Paul.
Absolutely. Now, Vargas is claiming that he's got a bit of pace in him yet, so we'll have to see if he's bluffing a little bit. But certainly, these races, they'll be fast and frenetic here tonight.
And here we go then. 5 more laps on the board. Heat 2 ready to get underway. It's a really long hold as the cars squat down on their launch control. Melillo is already going to be swarmed. The 2 Altus cars get a monster launch. A little bit of contact between them. I think that was team manager Simon Feigl turning around Michael Cozy into the Joker then for the very first time. It's Nick Ottinger who's now got a whole heap of clean air. Right behind Simon Feigl is a gaggle of cars. Lots of carnage, lots of chaos. Justin Melillo in front. And to correct myself, it was Michael Cozy Jr. turning in to his team manager. Always wonder what that conversation is going to be like later on as Ryan Vargas loses out on the drag race out of turn 4.
Yeah, it's going to be a case of after the race, you remember who pays your bills, you know. So yeah, that's certainly going to be the thing. Now Cozy, he wants to get past the driver of Melillo right now, and both of them head into the Joker lap. The rest of your field staying on course.
Incredible job from Nick Ottinger, already up into 2nd position. Waiting to see where the cars that went down onto the Joker merge out, because that was a pretty slow merge from them. I think Melillo might have had some sort of an issue because he's way down the field and really scored all the way down the tail end. Melillo's not had the best of luck technically recently either. He was on social media complaining about the state of his internet, which is crucial when it comes to online racing. Here's a battle though between Ryan Vargas and Daniel Dye. Vargas getting very comfortable with the inside curb. Big news for Ryan Vargas as well. His Xfinity career for NASCAR competition is growing in leaps and bounds. He knocks down the wall. That's not what you want to do on the Joker, but it's so easy to do on that entry.
Certainly is. Watch the rejoin. That's going to be the key thing, is looking out for how you rejoin from the Joker. And Cozy says, thank you very much, Ryan. I'll take that spot back. And as for Justin Melillo's internet, it's not that much better tonight, I must say. But yeah, he had an issue coming out of the Joker lap, and that's put him all the way to the back of the field.
So Simon Feigl has got the delta for the Joker on Nick Ottinger. I think Feigl might be able to win this one after starting all the way in the middle of row number 2. Great launch for those Altus cars. Both of them clearly have dialed things in with the help of Luis Nunez and Bo Albert, both who will be competing in our World Championship. That's Daniel Dye, very tight to the inside of turn number 2, sweeping through turn 3, back onto the gravel, hanging the rear end out. Looks very pretty. Not always the fastest way around the track. Coming out of the final corner, though, it is Simon Feigl. He'll start the final lap of this race and take to the Joker this time around.
Yeah, you want to just hit the brakes, use that banking. There's some dirt banking there on the side. That helps just swing the car around. Ottinger and Feigl side by side into 3. Oh my goodness, and Feigl just staying ahead for the time being. This one's not over yet.
Will that Logitech G car have it move down in through to the final couple of corners? Feigl sweeps the long way around, power down very smoothly. Very tricky final couple of corners here. It banks in and then out as you come down into the hairpin. Was there a little bit of contact there? It's not going to matter. Feigl gets the power down, 4-wheel drive assisting him. He wins heat number 2. Nick Ottinger advances with him. We'll say hello to Daniel Dye, Michael Cozy Jr., Ryan Vargas, and Justin Melillo in our last chance qualifiers. And we saw one of the tricky things, the style points on offer, very much so for Ryan Vargas in his VW Beetle. Lots of smoke being thrown up there through the final corner. That Joker merge, so crucial. Will we see some chaos in our World Championship races? So here's the results from heat number 2. As we get locked and loaded for the final heat of the day. It's heat number 3. Blake Bilko Williams will start on the front row alongside Luke Knapp and Trevor Teal. Keegan Leahy, your reigning, defending eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series champion, alongside race winner 7 days ago in his hometown of sunny Spain, Pablo GoPro Lopez, who also leads our unofficial point standings. Some very quick starts from some of these drivers. I think Pablo GoPro Lopez, I was taking a look at his social media coming into this one, Paul. He's been loving these All-Star Invitationals. I would not be surprised to see him have a good one once again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at all either. He's certainly taken to it like a duck to water, and he's doing a fantastic job. And why wouldn't you enjoy it? It is so much fun, these All-Star Invitationals.
He's 13 points clear of Parker Retzlaff in those unofficial championship standings, but final heat of the day ready to get underway here in Hell Lankebanen. Away we go. Blake Bilko Williams bogs down on the line. Knapp in the lead. GoPro Lopez looking to the inside of Trevor Teal. 3 cars poking their way into the Joker. Trevor Teal goes in deep. Pablo GoPro Lopez ends up on his roof. Keegan Leahy, though, out front and in control as Knapp a little bit wide in through turn number 2. That was chaos through the Joker. Surprised to see 3 cars taking to it that time around. Leahy makes a mistake. Blake Bilko Williams gets his elbows out.
Oh, this is going to be good now between these two. And, well, Lee is, you know, it's a new car to him. He's having to learn how to run quick in this. But with people like the pro sim racers, they just really adapt so well. As look at that, the entry into the Joker. We saw a couple of years ago, major issue, in fact it was last year, wasn't it? A major issue coming into the Joker lap, just somebody absolutely wiping out another car in front that was slowing down for turn number 1.
It's very similar to what we have at tracks like Daytona, isn't it, where the Joker entry is a fast corner, whereas in Daytona, yes, the regular lap is a little bit faster, but that chaos that can be brought from the entry and difference of speeds on the Joker lap. Across the line, lap number 2 in the books. Keegan Leahy 2.6 seconds clear of Luke Knapp, so Knapp's got that Joker delta, but if Leahy can use this clean air to his advantage, Joker on the final lap, and never say never. Blake Bilko Williams, after not getting the best of launches, really does look pretty comfortable in terms of pace right now.
Yeah, not looking too bad. And, well, he'll just be trying to plug away at this. And Keegan Lee, the only one who hasn't taken the Joker, he's got to, I would say, get the hammer down, but he's got a little bit of a gap between Knapp and Bilko. So he's got a slot that he can just throw in there.
And to reference what you were talking about last year, it was in race number 2 here in Hell Lankebanen when we saw the difference in Jokers really causing chaos. It was Bo Albert who crashed into Josh Fox. That was during our last chance qualifier. So we'll wait and see if we get a mirror image of that. Of course, for Bo Albert, not being the easiest of seasons for him in the World Championship. Trevor Teal down the inside of Bilko Williams. He goes around. Can GoPro Lopez take advantage after being on his roof? GoPro Lopez still trying to hunt down these cars.
It's incredible the pace that GoPro has in that Ford Fiesta. He's trying to do the odd slide job there on Teal, but it's not working. White flag out. So we've got one more lap to go here, and GoPro is certainly giving us a show.
And so Knapp has taken the race lead as expected. Leahy not too far behind, but I think a little bit too far back, about 4 car lengths. Not going to be able to try and sling a move down the inside of turn 4. Leahy hasn't looked comfortable here. You can see it once more. He's just struggling to get that car turned in. It's a very tricky corner. You need to maintain your momentum. And in the words of some of our World Championship drivers, smooth is fast. Leahy almost loses control there. But heat number 3, it's Luke Knapp victorious here Keegan Leahy will advance with him. Great racing once more. All-Stars really do know how to put on a show. Trevor Teal then crossed the line in third. GoPro Lopez fourth. Blake Bilko Williams didn't get off the line well. Showed some great fight though to finish in fifth. Here's a look at the results for heat number 3. So already lining ourselves up for the first of our last chance qualifiers. Let's take a look at our Yokohama starting grid where 5 cars are ready to rumble. Parker Kligerman, Trevor Teal, and Michael Cozy Jr. will all be on the front row. Watch for Michael Cozy Jr., who had a rocket of a launch back in his heat. Connor Daly, Blake Bilko Williams will line up on row number 2 all by themselves. And a reminder, 2 of these drivers going home, 3 advance to our 12-car feature. Here's a look at the starting box where they get spat down in towards that first corner. Cozy Jr. on the outside pole should take to the Joker first time around. We saw some good pace from him. Would not be surprised if he can come out on top.
Yeah, you would imagine that he'll just dive straight to the Joker. But we've seen a few people, if they get a good launch, are just heading straight to that Joker straight away. So that's going to be key to see how this all forms here today.
So ready to go. Doesn't look like Parker Kligerman is gridded up. Oh, there he goes, right at the last moment. Well, I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting. Away we go. Great launch from Cozy Jr. once again. Oh, Parker Kligerman with some technical issues. That's going to cause some heartbreak for some of these cars if they get mixed up with him. 3 take to the Joker. Michael Cozy, Trevor Teal. It's side by side on the exit, but Cozy gets the run down in towards turn number 2. And Parker Kligerman blinks back into existence. That's one of the difficulties sometimes of online racing. We were talking of Justin Melillo's internet issues. Looks like PK's got his own.
Yeah, I think Justin's tried to hack onto PK's internet, I think, here, and it's affecting him now. But we've got a close battle here for 3rd place right now. That's not where these... Well, it is the last transfer spot for them, so it's going to be the fight between Teal and Bilko Williams throughout this race. Remember, only 5-lap race this as well.
So it looks like Connor Daly is taken to the Joker. He's fed out right behind Michael Cozy Jr. So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to one of these cars, not named Parker Kligerman at this point in time. Looks like Blake Bilko Williams will be that car that heads back early from Europe. Next time in 7 days, we'll be racing at the Phoenix Raceway. Cozy Jr., though, not clear of Connor Daly, the NTT IndyCar Series driver for Ed Carpenter Racing, representing the US Air Force as he does in the real world. Over the jump they go. Great shot. Look at that. Off the ground, landing back and onto the brakes in towards turn number 1. That fast sweeping right-hand hairpin back onto the dirt, and downhill they go.
Yeah, you see all these tracks in America with their piles of dirt to have a jump. Just use the natural environment here and get yourself a jump. That's what you see right there at the end of the lap. But yeah, these drivers, Cozy and Daly, they should be safe. Although saying that, one little mistake, you can clip that arm cup on the inside of that left-hander towards the end of the lap, and it can just upset the car, send you up into the embankment, and before you know it, that's the end of your day.
A couple more laps left to go. And this year in 2021 in this All-Star Invitational, we haven't seen a lot of the real-world rallycross drivers. I think that's mixed things up, but this is a track, I should say, that's seen a whole heap of interesting winners, the likes of Tanner Faust, Liam Duran, Ken Block. You've got the Hansons, both Kevin and Timmy. We'll see, of course, Hanson Williams Esports in action later today. Hopefully, Josh Fox can have a little bit more luck than he's had so far over the first 5 rounds of this series. Andreas Backerud, who we've seen win in an all-star race earlier this year as well. Johan Kristoffersen back in 2017, one of the more recent winners here in Hell. One more lap to go. It looks like Cozy Jr., Daly, and Trevor Teal all looking comfortable to head into our 10-lap feature. And because we invert the feature as well, Trevor Teal would start then in 2nd position.
Certainly, and he'll enjoy that, that's for sure. He'll like being in the middle of the front row, the envious position that all these drivers want to be. But here's Cozy. It's his moment right now in this last chance qualifier.
So we'll have two Altus cars in our feature event. What a day for them, cheering on their compatriots in our World Championship. Cozy Jr. across the line, Connor Daly in close pursuit. Trevor Teal will be our final transfer. We say goodbye to Blake Bilko Williams. We'll see him hopefully in 7 days' time from the Phoenix Raceway. Ready to go then for our final last chance qualifier. 6 cars, 3 advance, 3 head on home. Let's take a look at that Yokohama starting grid where Daniel Dye will line up on the front row alongside Connor Martel and GoPro Lopez. It'll be Ryan Vargas, Ron Capps, and Justin Melillo on row number 2. There's your Yokohama starting grid. Martel, plenty of real-world rallycross experience. Of course, GoPro Lopez, a winner 7 days ago. 5 races so far, 5 different winners. I think we're looking pretty good for a 6th different winner so far in our World Championship swing here in the All-Star Invitational poll.
Certainly could, and you know, these All-Star Invitationals are just throw things up in the air with the inversion of the grid as well. It really does just spice things up out there, and we're just waiting on one more driver before we get going.
Hopefully no more technical issues. This time it's Daniel Dye. Will we see him line up, or is it just 5 cars ready to go? 5 more laps on the board. We'll say goodbye to a couple of these drivers. It's lights out and away we go. GoPro Lopez rockets off the line to the inside. Ryan Vargas challenges Connor Martel. He gets on the handbrake. He almost spins himself around. Justin Melillo is taken to the Joker along with GoPro Lopez. Interesting call from GoPro Lopez, given the start that he got to take to the Joker on lap number 1.
Yeah, as I said, we've seen a few of the drivers out there. If they get a good launch, they then just get themselves straight onto the Joker, get that done, and then that's it. It's okay. So, you know, get that Joker out of the way if you get the opportunity to, because it does give you that loss of time. And look at that GoPro down the inside of 2. Well, he's got past Vargas.
He's got the taste for rallycross, and he is relishing this opportunity. Vargas will Joker this time around. GoPro Lopez already right on the tail of Ron Capps, so I think GoPro Lopez looking pretty comfortable to try and win this race. He's 3.6 seconds. Look at that over-under. Supremely confident from the Spaniard. He'll try and go the long way around on Capps, who slides into his front bumper. A little bit of contact. Capps slams into the wall once more. Great shot. Look at this. Down the hill into the penultimate corner. GoPro Lopez around the outside, but he's now 3.8 seconds behind Connor Martel. Martel might want a Joker sooner rather than later to cover off the charge of GoPro Lopez. Ron Capps might actually be clear of Ryan Vargas, because Ryan Vargas has had some sort of an issue by himself. Capps does take to the Joker. Capps might still advance now.
And this is it. It's all about knowing when to take the Joker and to cover off others, and he does. He comes out ahead, does Capps, and well, he's certainly found himself in a very, very good position right now. He has actually got Daniel Dye, who has taken him to the track. So he did have technical problems, did Daniel, but he is laps down right now.
So Daniel Dye out there for just a bit of fun. Not sure exactly what happened, some sort of technical issue. GoPro Lopez down the hill in towards turn number 2. Now 3.5 back from the Vermont sports car machine of Connor Martel. See what will happen here. That gap's coming down, hand over fist. It was about 3 seconds at the bottom of the hill as they climb back up in towards the penultimate couple of corners. Martel to the Joker this time around.
But Martel gets such a good run through that hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Compared to GoPro, he just has that thing hooked up nicely. And you want to get your inside wheels hooked over the curbing through the hairpin. There he goes onto the Joker. Where's GoPro? He's right there, but not quite close enough. Although Martel very sensibly backs him up there.
And remember, if anything, you want to finish second in this one, because these guys will get inverted into our feature. So Ron Capps in the best position possible, because he'll start from first as we head to that 10-lap feature. Is there going to be some last lap drama here? GoPro Lopez close in pursuit. That Fiestas looks good so far today, but Martel powers his way up the hill through the final corner. Martel wins the second last chance qualifier. GoPro Lopez a quarter of a second behind. It's going to be a long wait, almost 11 seconds. That's Daniel Dye coming across the line. We're waiting. Will it be Ron Capps? There's Ron Capps. So can confirm Ron Capps advances. We'll start on pole position in our 10-lap feature. Ryan Vargas, Justin Melillo fight to the line, but they'll say goodbye to us. Hopefully we'll see both of them in 7 days' time from the Phoenix International Raceway. So there's confirmation of our results in the second of our last chance qualifiers. 17 whittled down to just 12. Feature racing action in our iRacing All-Star Invitationals coming up next on the iRacing Esports Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back from Hell Lankebanen.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. Alongside is the man in the flat cap, Paul Smith. And Paul, well, I'm sure you're a little bit disappointed not to be considered an all-star here today, but these all-stars really having some fun as they always do. 10 laps left for these guys today. They're going to put on a show for us.
It's always a good idea if you switch your microphone on after an ad break. But yes, Hell Lankebanen, me and this track do not agree. We do not get on with each other. So I thought it was safest for me to be in the commentary booth right now and to get to watch these highly talented drivers take part in this event here today.
And you talk of talent, I mean, we've got, what, 3 World Championship competitors? Yes, in other disciplines on the iRacing service, but World Championship drivers nonetheless. Here's a look at our 2021 schedule. It's the final stop on our European Grand Tour. We went from Great Britain to sunny Spain and now into the depths of hell, just 10 kilometers south of the Norwegian coastline. We'll return stateside to the Phoenix Raceway in a 7 days' time. Sonoma Wine Country in 2 weeks. And our championship finale, the Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home for racing, where our championship winner will be crowned. Hell Lankebanen, known for rallycross, but of course not built initially as a rallycross facility. It is about 63% asphalt, 37% dirt, just over 1 kilometer in length with 7 turns. What a wonderful track it is here today. And to go back to what I was saying, Paul, 3 World Championship drivers, yes, 2 of them are world champions. Incredible talent, and would not be surprised if Michael Cozy Jr., who's going to be competing in the eNASCAR Contender Series, which kicks off, I believe, this coming week, would not be surprised if he's a World Championship driver at the end of 2021.
Where was GoPro going then? He was going for a bit of an outing right then. Oh, he's going for doing donuts on the circle in the middle of the track. But Cozy, I wouldn't be surprised if he gives it a good go. As you say, 2 former one former champion, 1 current champion in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing World Championship Series, and also you've got possibly one of the nicest people in the whole of sim racing, which is Jamie Flug, who's currently the fastest in this session. He's going to be starting towards the rear of our grid here today, so he needs to remove Mr. Nice Guy and get Mr. Angry Guy.
We've seen that. We have seen that before. We've definitely seen him be elbows out, aggressive when he needs to be. I think back to him and Zach Campbell, who had a barn burner of a fight 7 days ago. No Zach Campbell today. Of course, we do have Keegan Leahy representing VRS Coanda. Does drive for 23-11 in that eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. Competed with Denny Hamlin Racing the year before that as well. So plenty of ties to NASCAR, of course, for Keegan Leahy, our 2021 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion. Here we go then. We are in Hell, we are in Lankebanen, 10 laps to decide round 6 of our 2021 iRacing All-Star Invitational. 5 races before this, 5 different winners. Will we see a 6th? We'll find out in the next couple of minutes. Let's take a look at our Yokohama starting grid as 12 cars are ready to rumble in Hell Lankebanen. Ron Capps, Trevor Thiel, and GoPro Lopez on the front row. GoPro Lopez in prime position to become the first repeat winner in 2021. Connor Daly, Connor Martell, and Michael Cozy Jr. share row number 2. Connor Martell, plenty of rallycross experience, but he's going to be sandwiched with some relative rookies. Watch out for that 21 machine, the Vermont Sports Car Subaru, always ready to race. From 7th position, it's your 2021 eNASCAR champion, Keegan Leahy, alongside his eNASCAR competitor. Nick Ottinger will line up in 8th with Parker Retzlaff, the ARCA Menard Series driver that won back in Daytona. Starting in 9th, final row of the grid, Luke Knupp, Simon Feigl, and Jamie Fluke. Great to have 2 Altus cars in the field, but what will the team owner Simon Feigl be feeling like? I'm sure lots of pressure on his shoulders. Ready to go then, 10 laps on the board, 12 cars ready to throw themselves into turn number 1. Lights out and away we go. Almost 5 wide back in the pack, 4 wide out front. GoPro Lopez immediately to the Joker. Everyone takes to the Joker basically. Simon Feigl splits the needle somehow. He'll emerge in the race lead. Ron Capps went for a roller coaster of a ride. What happened there, Paul?
Michael Cozy was up on the top of the bank on the Joker lap, so something's happened to him as well. Ron Capps took contact. It sent him flying across the inside of turn number 1 and into the side of Martell. Not the best of starts out there, and well, a big grid has just come a little bit unstuck towards the mid-pack, but Feigl right now certainly wanting to have a good race of this one.
And to left side of your screen, the timing tower will light on up with the drivers that have taken to the Joker. Daly goes this time around. Keegan Leahy's made a mistake. Wide through turn number 2. Chaos on the Joker merge as well. Connor Daly contact. Believe that was with Connor Martell. It's a mad scramble in towards turn 4. Trevor Thiel on the handbrake. Bumps Keegan Leahy wide. Trevor Thiel then into the path of GoPro Lopez. Absolute insanity here in the depths of hell. Simon Feigl must have a huge smile on his face.
Oh, he'll be loving this, absolutely. Do you know what? Ron Capps currently in 2nd place. This is tremendous to say that he was across the inside of turn 1. Now he takes the Joker lap. These drivers now, they're all trying to hunt down Simon Feigl. But that's what we were worried about, and that's what we're going to be looking out for in the World Championship event, that rejoin, that merge down into and the exit of turn 1.
Keegan Leahy's out. Keegan Leahy has retired from this race, so not sure. It must have been after this. You can see, oh, GoPro Lopez into Keegan Leahy. Leahy mounts the tire, mounts the wall there, I should say, excuse me.
Oh, Jimmy!
Jamie Fluke's gone wide. That is there a technical issue there? Or is it a slowdown somehow? Maybe turn 4.
Oh, you never know, but that's a big, big issue for Jamie, the Northern Irishman. The Porsche Tag Heuer Esport Super Cup driver finds himself further down. He's going to have to make some moves here, and Connor Martell, we saw in one of the earlier races just how difficult Martell can be in defending his position, but Jamie, making it an exuberant run around that hairpin at the bottom of the hill.
You said one of the nicest guys. Will we see the aggression ratchet on up as now look at him chasing down Martell in towards that final hairpin. Up the hill they'll climb onto the power, 4-wheel drive, pulling them into the start-finish line and open over the jump. Simon Feigl is only 3.8 seconds clear now. Nick Ottinger is trying to close the gap. Last time around, almost a full second faster was Ottinger. Inside looks Connor Martell on Luke Knupp. A little bit of contact between them. They'll be side by side down the hill. Jamie Fluke in the popcorn seat. Knupp yanks on the handbrake. Fluke sends it to the inside. Martel loses out.
Our thinking was Fluke going to go for a slide job there. Well, he certainly got one position right there in that one. Of course, these drivers, they don't have to worry about any damage that they pick up in this All-Stars Invitational. We do have the damage switched off to make sure these guys can have some fun out there. The World Championship drivers, though, that we'll be seeing very shortly, well, they don't have that luxury. But Fluke to the inside of two. Nicely done on the brakes. No handbrake needed. He's through.
Handbrake looks good, but when the motto of this track when it comes to World Championship drivers is smooth is fast, not always what you want to see. There are other tracks where the handbrake very much can come into play, but don't necessarily think this one is that track. Simon Feigl, 2.5 seconds clear. Nick Ottinger is hunting him down lap after lap. It's what, 4 laps to go this time around. I think Ottinger's got this one in the bag. Feigl should have jokered maybe last time around, covered off that gap. Look to the bottom of your screen. Something happened between Trevor Thiel and I think that's Parker Retzlaff just behind, heading into the penultimate corner. Thiel gets a bump from behind. Parker Retzlaff forces his way through. Good job from the Nitro Circus Star Car to hold on there and get himself pointed back in the right direction.
Yeah, Retzlaff just manoeuvring the driver out the way in front of Trevor Thiel. But yeah, that's you see that in Rallycross, and it's just part of the show here today. But we've got, what, 3 laps to go now, Arjuna. And Feigl, he is certainly not in a good place in terms of the win. Is in a good place, though, for second place.
It should be, because he's about 5 seconds clear of Jamie Fluke. And, of course, that Joker Delta anywhere from 3 to 3.2. And, of course, that's for the World Championship drivers, the guys who know how to execute on that Joker. So might be a little bit more, but I have no doubt that Simon Feigl has been getting some assistance from Bo Albert, who, of course, also resides in the Altus team house. The Altus team house must be a rather busy place this morning. Of course, it's morning in Australia. Glad you can join us here on the iRacing Esports Network, no matter where you are. 2 laps to go this time around. That gap now 1.5 seconds between Feigl and Nick Ottinger. What a drive from Nick Ottinger, I tell you. New challenge, and that's what we see from these masters. That's what I want to call them, masters on the iRacing service. Don't matter what car you put them in, they'll be quick. Connor Daly gives a bit of a bump to Ron Capps, opens the door potentially for Trevor Thiel to come on through.
I wonder, we did a charity broadcast from Charlotte Motorsport, and they offered, as part of the charity donations, a date with Nick Ottinger. I wonder if anybody took him up on that one and made that donation. Well, we'll have to find out at some point. But Nick, what a drive. He's shown time and again he's such a versatile driver here on the service.
I believe you're referring to the 4 hours of Charlotte, Paul, right? Now, that was
for the National MS Society, yeah. Great
event, so many interesting things revealed about iRacing. But across the line, 6 races, a 6th different winner. The 2020 eNASCAR champion wins in Hell Lankebanen. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Martel just in front of Parker Retzlaff, who pips Luke Knupp to the checkered flag. Incredible stuff. Winner 7 days ago, Pablo GoPro Lopez will slide his way through in 7th. Waiting now for Connor Daly, Ron Capps, Trevor Thiel. There'll be a wait for Michael Cozy Jr. to come across the line. These All-Stars don't know how to put on a bad race. That is an understatement. That is an understatement. 6 races, 6 incredible showcases of iRacing Rallycross, and it's a 6th different winner. Nick Ottinger emerges victorious in his Rallycross debut. Simon Feigl then in 2nd. Great debut for the Altus team boss. Hopefully we'll see him in action 7 days from now. Jamie Fluke, his final outing in this All-Star Invitational. Another podium to the Northern Irishman's name. Connor Martel, Parker Retzlaff, and Luke Knupp were in an elbows-out fight. They emerged 4th, 5th, and 6th, while GoPro Lopez was upside down and on his roof in his heat. Still manages to finish up there in 7th place. Championship leader in this unofficial iRacing All-Star Invitational might have lost some ground to Parker Retzlaff. Connor Daly, Ron Capps, and Michael Cozy Jr. complete the top 10. Of course, we had 12 cars in action. Trevor Thiel, 39 seconds adrift. Keegan Leahy, the only retirement from this race, mounted the tie wall. at the bottom of turn number 4. Hell Lankebanen, what a facility it is. It doesn't know how to put on a bad race. We'll be right back on the iRacing Esports Network with post-race coverage of the All-Star Invitational. It's post-race coverage in the 2021 iRacing All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, and alongside is Paul Smith. And Paul, I mean, you were part of this action yesterday. I know you said you don't like Hell, but I can't help but think that you were missing out slightly on some incredible racing here today.
I mean, I don't think I would have made it through to the feature like I did last time out, but certainly these drivers put on a really good show here in the All Stars, and in my opinion, they really deserve being considered to be All Stars. I'm just the guy who talked about it in the commentary box.
It did give us a pretty memorable moment last week. That's for sure, when you suddenly emerged onto the starting line where, with that wonderful call, I'm in the lead.
Well, wouldn't you get excited if it was something completely out of the blue?
Well, you see, you gotta set your expectations higher, Paul. You clearly are a talented driver, but I tell you what, let's talk to these All-Stars and our 6th different winner in 2021 so far. It's the 2020 eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series champion. It's Nick Ottinger. And Nick, I believe this is your first time ever doing a bit of rallycross. That looked like a lot of fun and some good success for you here today.
It was a successful, I guess you would call it, race for us. It was tough. I mean, I've never been to this track until testing with, I would consider my driver, Josh Fox, because I spot for him in the World Championship races. So I don't do these events, obviously, but it's, I got a lot of knowledge basically just from the drivers I talk to a lot. So it was very fun, a lot of contact, pretty much kind of like NASCAR, you have a lot of contact to get around people and stuff like that, but happy to get away with a win. It's happy to bring Logitech G in here, ESM and William Byron Esports, represent them in here too. So it's always fun.
And definitely, I think you'll add this to your sim racing resume alongside the 16 eNASCAR wins you have to your name. You're also a driver, though, Nick, that competed in multiple disciplines of iRacing World Championships. You competed in the VRS GT iRacing World Championship not once but twice. That was back in 2016 and 2017. Any chance we might see you make a rallycross run of things? Of course, you say you worked with Josh Fox, but you also ran in that VRS GT World Championship with Matt Boozer, who drives, of course, in this series here in 2021.
Yeah, I think it's a shot to think about, because I'm always a driver who wants to kind of push to new disciplines, and you can always improve as a driver. You're never a perfect driver, even in any discipline. So it's always something that just pushed me to try something different like it was today. And I think I want to put the time in towards it. So maybe Josh can give us some pointers and all these guys. So if they do, then I don't really want to be able to race beside them because I can't even keep up with them in practice. So, but I would say yes. I'm always a guy who just wants to just compete. So at the end of the day, anything to get in virtually, I just want to compete.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about your eNASCAR competition side of things, Nick. Of course, not the easiest of years for you this year defending your title, but really an incredibly competitive season with so many different winners. What's the off-season looking like for you? Of course, you'll be watching on with great intrigue and the Contender Series, what's going on there, but I'm sure you're not going to be a quiet man when it comes to competition.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Not going to be quiet when we, come back to the 2022 season. It was anytime you come off a championship year, you have high expectations because, I mean, you done just what your goal was of achieving a championship. And I've talked to a number of people and alluded to, we had a very successful year, even with our 25 team in the NASCAR series. And it's just tough. The competition rose. It's getting better and better each season. And we were winning opportunities about half of the races this year. That's all you can really ask for. So we won. We didn't get to the playoffs, but, we're going to try changing that again this coming year.
And I've been reminded that I need to ask you about something that happened during the 4 hours of Charlotte. Did anyone take you up on that opportunity to go on a date with you?
We have had a couple dates since then, yes. We're a charming guy, I guess you can say. So, we put our time towards, at least helping people with, coaching and stuff like that. So it was very successful with the whole 4 hours of Charlotte. That was a very good event with Chad and Steve and just all of iRacing putting it for a great cause with the MS Society too. So I can't wait to do it again next year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing what new things we see next year as well. Congratulations then, a 6th different winner in 2021. Nick, hopefully we'll see you in 7 days' time at Phoenix.
Oh, we will.
I like the sound of that, and a man clearly full of confidence. Next up, it's the man who's in the Altus team house, the first of the Altus drivers competing here today from that new location in the land down under. Paul Smith is standing by with Altus team boss Simon Feigl.
Well, Simon, I mean, you've pretty much shown your boys how it's done here today, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. Not gonna lie, a bit of luck, a bit of fortune, but I think that's kind of what you need and what our guys haven't had, particularly this guy to my left. So hopefully he has a good run tonight because he certainly deserves it.
Well, absolutely, and you touched on it right there. You need a bit of luck, a bit of fortune in the World Championship, that's for sure. But today in the All Stars, that really showed and paid through for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the turn one was crazy. I think I felt like Esteban Ocon when I came out the other side of it, but it was nuts. I didn't realize everyone was going to go to Joker, but when everyone was talking about it before the start, like a lot of people were talking about Jokering, and even though I was 11th on the grid, I sort of thought, well, I think there's going to be a lot of people Jokering, so it might be best to just take a normal line. Whereas in the heat, I was like fully committed to go in the Joker at the start, and then when I had the epic start, it was I had to change my plans midway through it. So anyway, you just have to kind of adapt to it, but I think I'm going to call it beginner's luck.
Well, let's just quickly touch on the World Championship because, of course, we are past the halfway point of the season. It is fair to say that right now Bo Albert is the unluckiest person in all of sim racing. But let's also look at positives. Though he has shown pace, but so too has Luis Nunez as well. How's that partnership been working out for you?
Yeah, really well. Like Luis is, as I'll first talk about Luis, he's had a phenomenal season, and I think a lot of people were wondering how he'd go. I think everyone's sort of seen the pace he's got, but sometimes when it comes to the racing, can get involved in a few incidents. But he's been one of the cleanest guys out there, and just yeah, I mean the last 3 rounds have been exceptional. I mean he's just right up there. So big props to him, and hopefully we can finish the season off strong. And for Bo, it's hard. Yeah, I mean it's just been one of those seasons. Things just haven't gone his way, but I think he's got every chance. Like always qualifies well, but arguably in the danger zone. When you're not in those first 4 cars. So that's always, I think, been part of the challenge. But hopefully he can turn around today. This is like his favourite track, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's it. He did give a good showing last year until he got a bit bullied. That seems to be a bit of a theme, unfortunately. But your role as a team manager then, when somebody is having a bad run of form where, it really will start frustrating the driver, how do you try and sort of keep that driver's head? What is it that you have to sort of work with that driver to do to keep them focused and pushing forward for the next round?
Well, I think ultimately you got to kind of work through what's in your sphere of influence, and some of this stuff isn't necessarily in your control. Like I think most of what he's had through hasn't been in his control. So you got to think about what you can actually do, and for that part, I think he's for the most part been really good. It's just been one of those seasons. But I think the other part is being obviously in the house, so we live together. It's you see everything. There's the whole emotion leading into it, the whole emotion after it, and during. So you just got to try to keep a cool head. Always think of perspective. It's very easy to, mentally get, in a bit of a rut as well. And it's, you just got to think, this is racing. We're here to do it for fun. Obviously, we're here to win, but at the end of the day, it's another race. We've always got another chance to go out there and have a good race, and that's pretty much the attitude going into this one. It's always a chance for him to get a good one. So fingers crossed we can.
And just final question from me: have you put 50p in the electricity meter this week?
Yeah, it was crazy. That was like literally the only time we've ever had a power cut or internet cut the whole time we've been here. So it was typical of Bo's luck, shall we say? But it should be okay. Fingers crossed.
Well, all the best to your drivers, and congratulations for yourself ending up on the podium there.
Thanks very much. Thanks to the broadcast. Thanks to you guys. I can't wait to watch it back. It's going to be been a wild one. So, but let's look forward to the main event now.
Thanks a lot, Simon.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
And so that was Simon Feigl, team manager, team owner, and resident in the Altus team house. He said alongside his Bo Albert. Bo Albert, I'm sure, very excited about returning to a track where he showed some significant pace back in our season opener last year, almost contending for the victory as well. World Championship action, though, ready to get underway. We're past the halfway point. 4 races left to go in 2021. We'll be right back in hell for World Championship action on the iRacing Esports Network.
Today's new cars have upwards of 100 computers in them, and a dashboard rivaled only by a commercial airliner. But wouldn't it be nice to really know what all that does for you? At Roadshow, we demystify the world of modern transportation with reviews of your next car, the latest news on what's changing the industry, and videos covering every screen and every new feature you'll encounter in the driver's seat. Get informed, get smart, and get going with Roadshow.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars, and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone, and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
In 2018, Nitro Rallycross took the racing world by storm with the biggest jumps, the best drivers, and the most intense action ever. In 2021, Nitro Rallycross is expanding with 5 epic races. From the mountains to the Great Lakes, the desert, and the Sunshine State, Nitro Rallycross is coming to a racetrack near you. Nitro Rallycross, the series, revving up and taking off this September.
It's time to go racing from Hell Lankebanen in the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, alongside is Paul Smith, as we get ready to descend into the depths of hell. Hell Lankebanen, plenty of contact. That's the norm here at this track. And we've got 26 drivers ready to rumble. Should be noted, Paul, I specifically said 26 drivers. After the first 5 rounds of this championship, 2 drivers have race suspensions. Rasmus Tuominen and Alex Bergeron will be watching on from the sidelines here. And in a championship which rewards consistency, that might hurt them in their quest for a top 10 and to lock themselves in for 2022.
Absolutely. It shows that the penalty points that the drivers accumulate from incidents, they do add up, and you can get yourself a race ban. So those two definitely feeling the pain of that, but hopefully they'll come back stronger and you know, keep on the right side of the series stewards for the next time out. But definitely it's going to be intriguing to see how some of those drivers who are in that bottom half of the field, how they try and progress forward and try and get themselves into the top half, top 10 should I say, of the championship.
Should also be noted that Johannes Vahanen for Lone Bro Motorsports in the 00 is on holiday this weekend, so him and his 3 kids enjoying some time away from the sim. It sees the return of series veteran Garrett Lowe, the only driver in iRacing Rallycross history to have won after coming through the last chance qualifiers. That was in Iowa back in 2018. What can he do in a one-off appearance for Lone Bro Motorsports? Let's talk more about Hell Lankebanen, though. 10 kilometers south of the Norwegian coastline and the city of Hell. It's a very fascinating track. Elevation changes, plenty of them. Fast sweeping corners, tight twisty, and slow technical corners. It's 63% asphalt, 37% dirt, and crucially, you can take the Joker on lap number 1, Paul. It's anywhere from 3 to 3.2 seconds slower.
Yeah, it certainly is. The outside line through turn number 1, then that Joker lap, and it's a bumpy entry into there. These World Championship drivers will have been practicing that all week long. As soon as last week's event finished, they will have been putting in the laps and the time around this venue.
2 races last year in its first season on the iRacing service, produced 2 first-time winners. Will we see a third? It'd be great to see if we can add to our legacy and into the history books a driver might end up. But here's a look at our series schedule. Final step of our European swing. 3 more races after this, all stateside. We'll head to the Phoenix Raceway. Phoenix going to have a rather big update tomorrow on the iRacing service. A brand new version of Phoenix coming. Of course, the start-finish line has been moved to the backstretch. Also, some rather new graphical improvements. So, great to have Phoenix on the schedule. Then to Wine Country, November 10th, my neck of the woods, Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home of racing, to round things off. So Hell Lankebanen, such a fantastic facility for some of these drivers to celebrate their birthdays. 3 drivers will have birthdays this coming week. We mentioned Garrett Lowe. He'll be turning 20 in a couple of days' time, looking to celebrate with a real World Championship this weekend, competing in a Legends car in a road course competition from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Louis Lejeune, the Frenchman, will turn 19 tomorrow, and Atu Hakoleto 2 days from now, so this Friday, will turn 15 years of age. Such a young grid. Plenty of talent in this field. Let's take a look at our series standings and the way that things have shaken up after 5 rounds of racing. 13 points clear is John Robertson, 2-time winner so far in 2021. Johnny Olakainen sits 13 points back. Tommy Holman does have 2 victories, but because he's missed out on a feature, because he struggled at times this season, he's 33 points back. A full race, a perfect race weekend away from John Robertson. Defending series champion Johan Hoff is in 4th. Not being the easiest run for him, but of course he's fighting World Championship fights on multiple fronts. He'll be in action tomorrow in the Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship as well. Kevin Ellis Jr. leads our Dirtfish Rookie of the Year point standings. What a season it's been for Kevin Ellis Jr., Paul.
certainly has, and is used to fighting door handle to door handle in the Porsche Tagore Esport Super Cup here on iRacing, and well, Rallycross, it's pretty much a little bit more physical than that, but not much more, that's for sure. But he's certainly been a tremendous new rookie. But of course, Jake Robertson just currently sneaking in to the top 10, but you look at some of those drivers outside that top 10 wanting to try and get organised and into automatic qualification for the new season.
And of course, crucially, Tuominen, Bergeron, they sit 11th and 13th. When they miss this round, that might really hurt their chances of locking themselves in. And for Tuominen in particular, who finished 11th in last year's championship, calls himself the Golden Pineapple. In Finland, that means the first driver to effectively finish out of the relevant positions. 11th means he wasn't locked in. He also didn't win any prize money when all things were said and done. Here's a look at that point system and the crucial numbers I was talking about. Consistency rewarded from qualifying through the heat and then through the feature. John Robertson has taken Yokohama Pole Awards in 4 consecutive race weekends. That is history, and history could be written even more if he gets a 5th consecutive one here. Crucially, though, when you consider the gap from Holman to Robertson, it's 29 points if you nail everything in the race here, Paul. Holman's 33 points back. Holman might be mathematically out of the championship fight heading into the last couple of races if he cannot knock on from here, really take some strides forward and make Robertson life very, very difficult.
Absolutely. Don't forget John Robertson as well, trying to secure the Yokohama Pole Position Award for the entire season. So we'll see how that pans out right now.
Well, Robertson's streak has been broken. It is not John Robertson on pole position. Instead, it's Yokohama Pole Award to Tommy Holman. It is our Yokohama starting grid. Luis Nunez will line up alongside Holman. It's been a great run of form for Nunez. After missing out on the first 2 features, he's been consistent since then. Kevin Ellis Jr. leads the Rookie of the Year point standings. He'll be alongside Kilian Delormeau, who has had no luck here in Hell Lankebanen. Bo Albert, another driver that's had absolutely no luck, will be inside of Delormeau. On his outside will be Luis Lejeune. Matt Buser rounds out the tail end of our 7-car grid. Heat number 1 ready to go. So 7 cars for Heat 1, 7 cars for Heat 2, and then 6 cars in both Heat 3 and 4. That's as a result of 2 suspensions as we head to Hell Lankebanen for round 6 of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship. 5 laps on the board. We are ready for World Championship action in Hell. And away we go. It's a good launch from Luis Nunez, who will try and lead down into turn 1. Bo Albert gets the elbows out to the inside of Kevin Ellis Jr. Altus, calamity for Luis Nunez. Albert knocks into Ellis Jr., who knocks into Luis Nunez. Out front, though, and in control, it's Tommy Holman, who leads from Kilian Delormeau.
Bo's trying to get the elbows out. He's trying to get to the head of those drivers who took the Joker lap there. And he's certainly done that, but in a physical way. I think he's trying to make his own luck here in the series now. He's sick of that run of bad luck. He wants to try and get through to the feature automatically without the last chance qualifiers. But here we go, Buser to the Joker lap now in that US Air Force car. Out of the Joker lap he'll go, and there's Bo Albert in front of him.
Bo Albert is 3.5 seconds, give or take, behind Kilian Delormeau, so Albert might still be in with a chance. Here's a look at the iRacing replay of that start. Albert immediately aggressive. Kevin Ellis, not much that Ellis really could do there. He was bundled off. Luis Lejeune, about to turn 20 years young, slides it down the inside, and then more bullying from Bo Albert, I think there. Maybe psychological bullying as well. The Sonax Ed Carpenter racing car goes a little bit wide. Here's the battle further down back at the pack. Albert's lost out to Buser, so these guys are costing themselves time. I wonder if there was a mistake from Bo Albert, because Kevin Ellis Jr. is now sitting up there in third. The Frenchman sideways on the run down into turn number 2. They just about managed to keep it straight. This is the physicality you expect from Lankebanen.
Yeah, it certainly is. As we've said all broadcast, it's difficult to overtake here. And yes, the physicality sort of just ramps up a little bit but my goodness, but he's done some bullying himself, and now he's getting bullied himself for good measure. So, yeah, these drivers out there, Delomo in a really, really good spot right now, but Tommy Holman, well, he's trying to make it a third straight feature race appearance. Third straight wins, should I say, in the heats.
And I think for Holman, after missing out in round number 2, this will be good. Luis Lejeune, a little bit too aggressive, cutting the curb at the bottom of turn 4. Manages to hold on to that car. Now going to come under fire from the 2 Altus cars. Altus were in great starting positions, has not gone their way. Final trip around Hell Lankebanen in heat number 1. Tommy Holman Jokers comes out comfortably in front of his set teammate, representing set team GRX, Killian Delomo, Kevin Ellis Jr., about 1 second behind, so going to be tough for Kevin Ellis Jr. to advance unless he wants to throw an almighty send. Out then of turn number 4 through the final couple of corners. Tommy Holman victorious on 2 occasions so far in 2021. He wants to make it a third. He wants to make it 5 wins in his iRacing Rallycross World Championship career. He wins heat number 1. Advancing with him is the Frenchman Killian Delomo. Kevin Ellis Jr. will have to go through the consolation races along with Matt Busa, Luis Lejeune, Bo Albert, and Luis Nunez. Not what Altus Esports would have wanted after the strong run from team manager and the All-Star Invitational. Here's confirmation of the results for heat number 1. Let's go ahead and dial on up the Yokohama starting grid for heat number 2. Joni Ollikainen trying to make it a 1 and 2 for Set Esports heading into that 10-lap feature. He'll be alongside the returning Garrett Lowe. What a qualifying for Garrett Lowe on his return to the series. Completing row 1 is Garrett Maines. Jarno Leskinen, youngest driver in the field for Hanson Williams Esports. He'll be inside Atu Hakaleto. Luke Kraus, the Canadian, on the outside of row number 2. We have 2 Hanson Williams Esports cars. Josh Fox at the tail end of this field. One of the series veterans. Fox did not enjoy good runs here in 2020. Did not make the feature in either of those races. Ready to go once more. Watch out on the outside. Garrett Maines, Luke Kraus. They'll want to peel off onto the Joker. But getting a good start is crucial as we get set once more. Heat number 2 ready to go in Lankenbanen. And it's jump start from Josh Fox. Has that just bumped Joni Ollikainen as well? Carnage immediately. Garrett Maines gets into Hakaleto, and Leskinen gets turned around as well. In towards turn 1, Joni Ollikainen side by side with Maines, who gets on through. Maines might be in with the chance here of winning a heat for his first time in his Rallycross World Championship career.
Joni Ollikainen will end up most likely with a jump start from that through no fault of his own. Absolute drama at the start here. There's been contact going down towards turn 1 as well. Garrett Lowe, Josh Fox getting into each other as well. Hakaleto as well getting into contact. So the front 3 right now, these 3 are trying to push on and try and get themselves a race win here.
And Ollikainen is going to be furious, and rightly so. I understand that Fox is frustrated, but once he realized he had jumped the start, I'm going to be honest, the thing that I would have expected a driver of Fox's reputation and history in this series to have done is to come to a stop and avoid bumping Ollikainen. Only the iRacing gods will save Ollikainen from dropping down the field. We'll find out at the conclusion then of these 5 laps of action. Garrett Maines and the Elliott Sadler Esports Offerpad Subaru in a good position to advance on through. Ollikainen's keeping him honest, and this is a good indication of the pace of Maines. Kraus will take to the Joker this time around. Where does that feed him in comparison to Garrett Lowe? Jarno Leskinen will slide in front, but he hasn't taken to the Joker. Kraus in front of Garrett Lowe. Kraus in a good position to advance if Ollikainen, as we suspect, will drop down the field at the tail end of this race.
Well, this is where you find out who's done what well, and Kraus getting that Joker lap done now means that he's got himself to the head of that group. He's got a bit of clean air. He can focus forward, try and get some quick laps in right now, and try and get the jump over Maines and Ollikainen as well. We've got Ollikainen heading for the Joker.
So Ollikainen blinks. He'll be in front of Luke Kraus by some margin. Leskinen Jokers and emerges behind Garrett Lowe. So Maines looking good. The pace is really strong, I tell you, from Garrett Maines, an eNASCAR competitor this year. He was one of the most improved drivers in 2020 has struggled to kick things off in 2021. It would be a interesting note if he turned things around here in the depths of hell. White flag in the air, Luke Kraus very wide. Might have been an issue for him potentially with Jarno Leskinen. Out front, Garrett Maines to the Joker this time around. Josh Fox will follow him through. Maines comfortably in the lead of this race. Ollikainen in second. The question about to be answered now, Ollikainen, does he have a penalty, Paul?
Well, we're about to find out. Ollikainen with the slide job down the inside of 4. Maines can carry the speed out the corner, but Ollikainen in front of him on the road. So Ollikainen should finish first on the road, but it's how we see it for the timing and the results when it comes across.
We'll wait and see as Jarno Leskinen gets past Garrett Lowe at the line, or did Lowe manage to get him back? That looked close. My timing went a little bit crazy. Let's get those questions answered then. It is heartbreak for Joni Ollikainen, who has advanced to the feature directly in every round so far. He'll have to fight back through the last chance qualifiers. It's a 6th feature race appearance for Garrett Maines, first in 2021, along with Jarno Leskinen. Very impressive to kick things off, has struggled since then. Rest of the drivers to the last chance qualifiers. Let's take a look at the Yokohama starting grid where we find Subaru Motorsports USA. There are 3 points separating them from the team standings leaders Set Esports. For Robertson and Hath, they need to control here. Otto Taskinen completes the front row. Thomas Wangen, hard charger on the season so far. He'll be alongside Quintin Dalomo, Tommi Nukarainen. 6 cars in this third heat as suspected. 6 cars in our final heat as well. Great to have the blue and gold. Great to have the Nitro Circus 199 car, potentially the best looking car in our field. And a reminder, red stripe on John Robertson. That denotes our championship leader. 5 more laps, ready to go for Heat 3 in Hell Lankebanen. Did Hath jump the start there? That looked mighty close. It's going to be the run down into the Joker. Already Dalomo looking to try and put the pressure on. He spins around the defending champion. Hath is in all sorts of danger right now. It has not been the title defense that he would have wanted. Robertson, though, in control. Thomas Wangen up to second.
Oh, wow. Drama, excitement, chaos. If that's what you were wanting, you're certainly getting it here tonight, that's for sure. And, well, Thomas Wangen finds himself in a tremendous spot right now. Second place. He'll be looking to try and get through to the feature race automatically.
And for Hath, I think anyway he would have got a penalty for jumping the start, so I don't necessarily think that is the worst situation for him. Question now becomes, can Thomas Wangen take advantage of the situation as it stands? Left side of the screen, you can see Taskinen, Nukarainen, and Dalomo have all taken to the Joker. The gap between Wangen and Taskinen is about 1.4 seconds, so it's going to take a miracle for Wangen to advance directly through. But given the way that today is gone, never say never. Incredible, and given that these are the 28, 26, I guess today, Paul, best drivers in Rallycross on the iRacing service, it's unusual to see so many false starts as Hath takes to the Joker this time around. That releases Taskinen to attack Thomas Wangen.
Yeah, it is unusual to see this sort of issue happening out there for the drivers. And, well, Hath, the issue for Hath... Oh, that's John Robertson! Robertson's around! Oh, watch your rejoin, John! Well, my goodness, he's dropped down behind 2 of your drivers who have taken to the Joker.
And for your championship contenders, does this allow Tommy Holman to sneak up on them and close the gap? Ollikainen's already had trouble. Robertson follows him. This time it's turn 4. We saw this in the heat number 1, where it was Louis Lejeune that did the very same thing. A little bit too much on the inside. That rotated the car a little bit too much. Wangen goes around Robertson, now in a straight fight with Tommi Nukarainen.
Well, does anybody want to actually finish this race or what? This is absolutely crazy out there. Well, one driver who won't be ruined this is Otto Taskinen. Here we go. This is what we were worried about. The rejoin and then bang, he just pulled the handbrake to help turn around the hairpin and he just got clipped.
For the Yokohama car, he was looking good. Robertson has to take to the Joker, so we know for a fact Robertson is going to the last chance qualifiers along with Joni Ollikainen. First and second in the championship has not gone the way we expected. We said this was tricky, we said this was technical. It is claiming victim after victim. Out front though, Otto Taskinen. Finally some good luck for the Nitro Circus 199 car. Otto Taskinen wins heat number 3. He will advance straight to the feature race. Tommi Nukarainen, his first feature race, not just in 2021, in his entire Rallycross career. Quinton Dalomo will end up in 3rd. That's grid position for him. John Robertson 4th, Thomas Wang in 5th, and as suspected, Johan Harth, penalty for jumping the start, drops him down to the tail end of the field. Both Subaru Motorsports cars through the last chance qualifiers. Let's take a look then at the Yokohama starting grid for the 4th and final heat race. Vicente Salas has been impressive in 2021. He will lead us off in this final heat of the day. Tony Latin-Mackie in a great spot to try and make his first feature race appearance from the second on the grid. Jake Robertson alongside Jacob Rafos, Marco Matamoros, Sindre Silva. That's row number 2. 6 cars. I'm going crazy right now, Paul. I'm struggling to keep up with all the storylines that we're seeing here today.
If ever there was a round of this championship where you can gain yourself some big points if you're outside of that top 10, this is the round. My goodness, it's just been absolutely crazy, these first few heat races. This is the final heat race. After this, 2 last chance qualifiers. Don't go anywhere, folks. This one is going to be a cracker.
Has Vicente Salas missed the start of this race? Yes, he has. That is more drama. All sorts of things are going on here. Jacob Rafos got the whole shot, but into the Joker. Tony Latin-Mackie tried to bully Jake Robertson out of the way. Somehow hangs on to his Jim Beaver Esports Subaru. Amazing start to this race. Jake Robertson right behind, and right behind him, Sindre Silva. All sorts of chaos. Out front, Jacob Rafos. Other car that didn't take to the Joker is Marcos Matamoros. Latin-Mackie very wide, and Robertson. We were talking about Bo Albert having no luck. Robertson is another one. More carnage, more chaos. It's all going wrong.
If you are Rafos and Matamoros right now, you want to take the Joker lap, because these guys fighting this hard is going to give you, it's going to gift you this lead.
So watch this. Through turn 4, Latin-Mackie a little bit too wide, opens the door for Robertson. Robertson kind of clears himself on Latin-Mackie. I don't necessarily think Latin-Mackie is fully to blame for that one. Unfortunately, Robertson doesn't lose too much time. Silva, he gets the car turned in. Latin-Mackie bumps him sideways. Robertson looking the long way around. These guys are putting on a show, but again, it's just costing them time. Rafos and Matamoros looking pretty comfortable here.
They're 5.5 seconds behind second place. The Joker lap delta is around 3.2 seconds. The front 2, Rafos and Matamoros, are rubbing their hands with glee, whereas these drivers, they're just going absolutely crazy out there, battling each other like it's the last lap of a championship on the line, and well, they're just ruining themselves, they're ruining their own races here.
And heartbreak for Salas. We saw that he missed the start. It looks like technical issues for him. He had to leave the session and rejoin. He is going to be frustrated, to say the very least. Rafos, 1 feature race so far in 2021 in his young and growing Rallycross World Championship career. Marcos Matamoros coming into this race, 20 starts, 1 feature race appearance. He is going to be delighted with what we saw behind through turn 4 for the penultimate time. These 2 cars basically nailed on to advance.
Absolutely, and these 2, they're doing everything right here. They've got themselves clean air. They've got themselves just the focus on the road in front. They'll take to the Joker lap this time by, and this is all that they need to do. Look at that! The way that he sends that into the Joker lap, that is an absolutely perfect line from Jacob.
You would never think that he is just 14 years of age. Somehow, these drivers so incredibly talented. Matamoros is also clear by about 2 seconds of Sindre Silva. 14 years of age. Vermont Sports Car, the youngest driver lineup in the field. It looks like they will have 2 drivers heading into our 10-lap feature. If Hakoleto can do some magic then in the last chance qualifiers. Out of the final corner, Jacob Rafals wins his first heat race in Rallycross World Championship history. Marcos Matamoros take a bow. He advances to only his 2nd feature race appearance in 21 starts in Rallycross history. Heartbreak for Salas. Silva, Latin, Mackie and Robertson put on a show, but all it did was hurt them. Let's get ready and let's get set for the first of our last chance qualifiers. Here's a look at the Yokohama starting grid. Kevin Ellis Jr. looks to try and advance to another feature race. Only missed out on race number 1, trying to carry that form forward in the battle for the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year. Quintin Delhomme and Matt Busa share row number 1, I should say. John Robertson, the championship leader, has lots of work to do. He'll be alongside Luis Lejeune and Thomas Wangen. Bo Albert, Johan Hart, and Luis Nunez will be on the final row of this grid. Does look as though at least one Subaru Motorsports USA car is going to miss out. They cannot afford this in the team's championship. 5 laps, 1 driver advances. 8 head back to the United States of America and Phoenix Raceway. But here we are. Plenty of drama so far. What will the last chance qualifiers hold for us here now? Engines rev, leaning on the launch control. Let's get set for last chance qualifier action from Hell Lankebanen. It's a great start from Quintin Delhomme. Kevin Ellis Jr. surprisingly to the Joker. He covers off Matt Busa. All sorts of carnage and chaos. Meanwhile, 3 wide down into turn number 2. John Robertson, can he get through this one safely? Yes, he can. This is crucial. He's still getting bullied though. It's Bo Albert to the inside.
This is Bo Albert's favourite track here. Oh, and he's gone off! He's done what Robertson did, and his teammate follows him. The 2 Altus Esports cars both go off on the exit of turn 4.
Incredible. It's getting increasingly physical. I can't wait to see what the 10-lap feature holds. Here's the stop. Interesting call from Kevin Ellis Jr. I don't exactly think I agree with that, but 3 wide. Delhomme gets spun around, not much he could have really done. Really, Johan Hart, well, I think he calls it day done right there, unfortunately, for the defending champion. It has not been the type of defense we expected from the Frenchman. He struggled in qualifying, which has usually been his strong suit. Definitely the first time as well that he missed out on a feature. He's had to fight his way through more last chance qualifiers than he would have wanted. Kevin Ellis Jr. then, still in with a chance, I would say. He's 3 seconds behind John Robertson, who leads. That's just about within the Joker Delta. We must not forget, though, John Robertson, Kevin Ellis Jr., they are stable mates when it comes to sim racing here, Paul. They cannot afford to get mixed up with one another, as I'm not sure Bo Albert has just cycled to the front.
I think he's taken a retirement. I think that's why he cycled to the front there, so that's why he saw his name jump up to the top. But the Rallycross Letterman Lanigan driver, Kevin Ellis Jr., just cannot afford to play friends and play pals and favourites here. He's got to think of his own championship here, and he's got to try and push on. He wants to get qualification for this feature race. Only 1 driver makes it to that feature race. The gap now is about 3.5 seconds. So John Robertson, the pendulum's swinging back in Robertson's favour.
It'll be white flag next time around, so with that gap about 3.2 seconds, it's going to be mighty tight as around goes the 64 of Thomas Wangen. Turn 4, clearly very difficult. We're seeing how aggressive those cars are being on the entry. Up the hill, through the hairpin for the penultimate time. This is where it is going to be crucial. On board with Kevin Ellis Jr., he'll be watching out to his left-hand side. Where is John Robertson taking to the Joker? And, well, not even close. John Robertson clear of the field. He will advance to the feature, but he will start all the way back in 9th position, Paul. His worst starting position so far in 2021.
Yeah, but crucially for him, as around goes Lejeune. Here's the latest one. Crucially for John Robertson, though, he is in the feature race. That is what matters here.
Not how Luis Lejeune wanted to celebrate his birthday. Will turn 19 years old tomorrow. Will head home, though, from Hell Lankebanen today. Drama for John Robertson, but he manages to persevere. Robertson advances. We say goodbye to Kevin Ellis Jr., Matt Busa, Louis Lejeune, Thomas Wangen, Luis Nunez, Quintin Del Olmo, Bo Albert, and Johan Hart, the defending world champion. Jarno Leskinen might be able to get some good points in the Rookie of the Year battle, with Nunez and Kevin Ellis Jr. having gone home already. But here's a look at last chance qualifier number 2 and our Yokohama starting grid. Garrett Lowe, on his return to the series, will line up on pole position. He's feeling confident in his Fiesta's pace, but alongside will be Sindre Silva and the Nitro Circus car of Luke Kraus. Tony Latinmäki will line up then on row 2 with Atu Hakoleto and Jake Robertson, the second of the Rahal Letterman Lanigan machines. Joni Ollikainen in 7th position alongside Vicente Salas and Josh Fox. Ollikainen has it all to do. And for Ollikainen, there can only be one thing on his mind here, Paul: attack.
Oh, he has to. He has to do that. But he can't afford to get involved in any silly shenanigans out there, which unfortunately we've seen time and again in these last chance qualifiers. All of these drivers desperate to finish in that first place.
One driver advances. We say goodbye to the rest of the field. 5 more laps on the board. Last chance qualifier 2, ready to rumble in Hell Lankebanen. Away we go. Good launch from the entire field. Garrett Lowe on the inside. Sees carnage around him. That's Hakoleto that's gone around. Heartbreak then for the young 14-year-old. Garrett Lowe getting swarmed by the field. Side by side, Ollikainen has rocketed to the front.
That is the start that he wanted. He was on the inside and he did exactly what he needed to do. Contact between the two of them though. Garrett Lowe, he's a veteran of the series. He's covering for the team, but unfortunately he's dropping back because he did cut across the inside of turn number 4 and he's still having to serve that slowdown penalty.
It gives the opportunity for Vicente Salas to get on through. Ollikainen has taken full advantage, 2.8 seconds clear. He needs to run away, does Ollikainen, and not look back. Hakoleto takes to the Joker this time around. Here's a look at the start. Watch this. Latinmäki tries to squeeze it down the inside. Salas sends him around. Hakoleto, innocent party there. Not much he could have done, and that's putting it lightly. Garrett Lowe in the Fiesta goes around. A little bit of a love tap there from Luke Kraus and Jake Robertson. That's not the way Garrett Lowe wanted his one and only appearance here in 2021 to go, but we saw just how quick his Fiesta could be. Meanwhile, out front, Joni Ollikainen, not much to worry about now.
Oh yeah, he's delighted. He's in a position right now where he's pretty much safe. Here we go. Here's that instant down at turn 4. It's a bit of a slide job. There's contact between the Ford, and then bang, nose to nose, another car around. Just carnage and chaos here at Lankebanen.
I think Johannes Vähänen is probably looking on and watching on from his holiday with his 3 kids and thinking he picked a good round to go and take on holiday. Garrett Lowe took all of the bumping for him, and Vähänen will fill back in when we return stateside 7 days from now at the Phoenix Raceway. Ollikainen, penultimate lap. We'll wait to take the Joker next time around. Sindre Silva, the first car to have jokered, is about 4.5 seconds back. So Ollikainen has this one covered. Incredible. I mean, both of the championship leaders, 1 and 2, had to go through the last chance qualifiers, and both of them survived. That is not what you expect. That is not the way stories are meant to be written. Holman in a very good position, though, Paul, because he'll start from the front. Ollikainen and John Robertson will start on the final row of the grid as across the line. White flag in the air. Ollikainen to the Joker this time around.
Yeah, knows exactly what he needs to do there to the Joker. And he'll come out nicely in front because, of course, Salas had to take to the Joker as well. So that means Sindre Silva in second place. But nobody remembers who's second place. All they remember is your winner right here.
And it's Ollikainen sliding through the dirt. Sindre Silva was the one that made the contact with Garrett Lowe that sent the 00 around. Race control going to be oh so busy once more. But out of the final corner, up the hill, through the hairpin, Joni Ollikainen stamps his foot on the throttle, stamps his place back in feature racing action in 2021. We say goodbye to 8 other drivers. 26 have been whittled down to the fastest 10, featuring feature racing action, ready to go at Hell Lankebanen next. We'll take a look at your results in the second of the last chance qualifiers. Sindre Silva, well, the first car not advancing, he'll be heartbroken, will be the Norwegian driver to have not advanced here today. Joni Ollikainen does advance, Jake Robertson, Atu Hakaleto, Vicente Salas, Garrett Lowe, Tony Latin-Mackie, Luke Krause, and Josh Fox. We say goodbye to those drivers. 7 days from now, they'll be in action at the Phoenix Raceway. Well, that was interesting, and that puts it mildly. Still 10 laps to go. The 10 laps that matter in our 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Don't go anywhere. Feature racing action next on the iRacing Esports Network.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kenkipati. Alongside for the chaos, the carnage, is the man in the flat cap, Paul Smith. And Paul, before we focus on World Championship action, I think it's only fair that we focus on some news from one of our other partners here at the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Earlier this year, it was announced that Nitro Rallycross will see a star driver join them next time out at Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. NASCAR driver Kyle Busch, yes, that Kyle Busch will be in action. Really looking forward to seeing what he's going to be doing. Of course, that race happens November 13th and 14th. So much fun, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be tremendous to see Kyle out there and competing in the Nitro Circus Rallycross. And if you are in the area, make sure you head on down, get yourself tickets, because you will not want to miss that. Of course, there's the rest of the gang taking part in that series as well. So, yeah, if you want some great entertainment, why not head on down to Wild Horse Pass?
That's in a couple of weeks' time. Plenty more action to come here, though, on the iRacing Esports Network, where round 6 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship heads to its feature race. Well, the championship picture has taken a number of turns over the course so far of 2021, and I tell you what, with 3 races left to go after this one, today might be pivotal. John Robertson has been the picture of consistency so far. Qualifying didn't go his way, and from there, it was a bit surprising to see how he stumbled from there. Joni Ollikainen had his own issues, being bumped on the start by Josh Fox. Both drivers had to go through the last chance qualifiers. Both drivers advanced. Paul, I mean, we talk about consistency. Here's the live point situation as things run. 30 points, now the gap between Robertson and Tommy Holman. But if things go well for Holman today, if Robertson and Ollikainen cannot recover from the tail end of the field, remember, 9th and 10th scored 2 and 1 points respectively. Holman needs to win here for the 3rd time in 2021 to keep his title hopes alive. Robertson, with a good top 5 finish, can continue to extend his advantage if he does well here today.
I said earlier that if ever there was a round of the championship to try and take advantage of, this is it. And Tommy Holman needs to just have the drive of his life here to keep his championship alive and hope that Robertson and Ollikainen do not get too many points. Although he'll be wanting his teammate Ollikainen to do pretty well out there to help them in the team's championship. But I will say, how great is it to see people like Garrett Maines, Otto Taskinen, Jacob Refoss, of course, let's not miss him out, Nukkarainen, you've got Metamoros as well. these drivers, we don't see them too often in the feature race. It's great to have them here in this feature.
And in 2 iRacing Rallycross World Championship races here from Hell Lankebanen, we've seen 2 first-time winners emerge. Will we see a third, or will Tommy Holman take his 3rd win on the season, his 2nd win here at Hell Lankebanen? Let's turn up the most famous song in all of esports. Let's go trackside to take a look at the Yokohama starting grid for our feature race. Tommy Holman in pole position and in control of his destiny. Garrett Maines with a prime opportunity to take his first Rallycross career win. Otto Taskinen will be on the outside of the front row. Taskinen has been a force in seasons past, has struggled so far. Can he make it a 2nd win? Lucas Oil in 2019, his 1st win of his career. Jacob Rafos, Kilian Delomo, and Jarno Leskinen 4th, 5th, and 6th. Tommy Nukarainen, Marcos Matamoros, John Robertson, and Joni Ollikainen to complete the grid. Watch for that final 2 drivers. So much pressure on their shoulders. 10 laps on the board, and the championship race starts here. 4 more races, including this one, leading up to Charlotte Motor Speedway and our championship finale. The car squat down, the engines rev. We are ready to race in Hell Lankebanen. It's a great launch from the front row. Holman is having to cover off the charge of Garrett Maines to the Joker, Otto Taskinen, but already Jarno Leskinen trying to go the long way around. Incredible stuff. Kilian Delomo loses out. Meanwhile, Robertson has rocketed his way up. 3rd place on track, just about managed to avoid being turned by Rafos.
Yeah, that Subaru Motorsports USA car doing a good job at the start, negotiating everybody, keeping out the way, and that certainly worked out perfectly for him at the start. I'd love to see his perspective of that start then, to see how he worked his way through. Otto Taskinen down to 9th place, but he has taken the Joker along with Leskinen and Delomo.
And don't forget as well, left side of the screen, championship leader highlighted in red. Matamoros takes to the Joker this time around. Remember, Robertson had one of the best starts we've seen in iRacing Rallycross history at Brands Hatch. It was so good we thought he had jumped the start. Seems like he got the whole shot once more, but Garrett Maines holding strong. His pace in his heat was impressive, managing to hold off even Joni Ollikainen. He's only about 8/10 behind Tommy Holman, who leads across the line, 2 laps in the books. But Holman starting to stretch his legs and pull away. John Robertson is either going to be looking for the chrome horn and to get on past Garrett Maines, or he's going to be looking for that Joker Delta. Here's the look on board with John Robertson. He's already overcome adversity to be in this position. Looks to the inside, heading down into turn 4.
But look at how these drivers, they use that curb to hook the tyre, to pull them round that hairpin at turn number 4. Fast sweeping left-hander, use the banking on the right-hand side, then onto the brakes. Tight hairpin, get the speed out of the corner, and the launch up over the top of the jump, and another lap completed. It's such a difficult track. It just keeps on coming at you, does this venue. And Garrett Maines, you know, people might have been surprised to see him here in the feature race. I'm not. He's had pace all day today.
Could it be a first podium for Maines? Of course, this is only his 6th feature race start. He's got 2 top 5s to his name. Has not always been the most consistent driver, but last year we saw improvement, leaps and bounds from the Virginia native. Said that Barcelona was not his favorite track, so he'll be very happy to head to Hell now. Final step of our European swing. Here's a look on board with the OfferPad Subaru. The Elliott Sadler Esports driver, focus. Look at that determination on his face. We've seen some drivers very calm, I think, to the likes of Tommy Holman. That's a little bit more intense from Garrett Maines.
Now, if you're John Robertson, are you asking your spotter right now, find me a gap where I can come out into some clean air on the Joker, or are you content to be here? Do you feel that Maines is holding you up? These are all questions that need answering in the next 5 laps or so. But Robertson, he's got to think about that Joker and think about where he's going to slot in here, because, of course, Leskinen and the others, they're not that far behind right now. In fact, John Robertson is only about 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds ahead of Leskinen, the first of your Joker drivers.
Ollikainen is in some trouble, if you ask me. The best place he's going to cycle out once the Jokers are all done and dusted, is potentially 7th behind Taskinen. We'll wait and see as Leskinen gets on pass for a Foss. I'm not sure if Foss took to the Joker, if there was something happening out on track. Robertson needs to find some clean air. He'll have plenty of people in his ears. You'll have Kevin Ellis Jr., of course, is not racing now. Jake Robertson as well. The two Hell Lankebanen machines working in lockstep with John Robertson, who almost gets turned by Joni Ollikainen there. Spotter for all of these drivers for Subaru Motorsports USA and Hell Lankebanen, though, is George Simmons. Strategy guru, works for McLaren F1 in the real world, so definitely knows what he's talking about. What can he do to try and feed Robertson out into some clean air? The gap between Holman and Maines, though, 2 full seconds. Holman in control, looking good for a 3rd victory in 2021.
Oh, this is just simmering right now. Maines runs a little bit wide mid-corner. John Robertson seeing the opportunity, and behind him, Ollikainen. Ollikainen needs to move ahead of Robertson here on track. He wants to try and jump him just to try and gain some championship points over John.
And he looks quicker on the entry into turn 2, and that last time almost locked his own brakes up, trying to avoid running into the back of the championship leader. So plenty of pressure. Penultimate lap this time around. Who will come down to the Joker and try and search for something different? Robertson does so. That is key. Ollikainen follows. Not sure I agree with the run from Ollikainen. Maybe he thinks Maines is holding them up. Watch for this merge, though. They're in clean air. They're behind Jarno Leskinen, though.
And this is what I was saying, isn't it? They'll have been asking, get me some clean air, find me that spot where I can come out and get some runs here. But Robertson and Ollikainen, it's actually not as bad as I thought it would have been for them both. White flag in the air.
One more lap, just over 1 kilometer left to decide the race here at Hell Lankebanen. Garrett Maines might be close to Jarno Leskinen on the Joker merge. It's not going to be close, though. Tommy Holman in control. Watch for the merge then. Down into turn number 2. Where is Garrett Maines? He's alongside, but just behind Leskinen. He's in front of John Robertson. Robertson drops to 4th. This is crucial. These are valuable championship points going the way of Tommy Holman, who out of the final corner rounds himself. Up the hill he'll go. It's his 2nd victory here in Hell Lankebanen. It's his 3rd victory in 2021. Tommy Holman wins in Hell Lankebanen, and career podium number 1 for Garrett Maines for Jarno Leskinen. What a race. Hell Lankebanen delivered with fireworks. The championship looks so interesting heading back to the United States of America. It's a great fight back from John Robertson and Joni Ollikainen after having to go through the last chance qualifiers, but all eyes on Tommy Holman, who burns it down for the 3rd time in 2021. Jarno Leskinen, what a drive from the young 13-year-old, youngest driver in the Rallycross World Championship, might be the youngest podium in iRacing World Championship history. Garrett Maines finally gets the podium he's been searching for. It took him so many races longer than he thought, 23, and now his 1st podium. John Robertson in 4th, Joni Ollikainen 5th, Otto Taskinen, Killian Delormo, Jacob Rafals, Tommy Nukarainen, and Marcos Matamoros to complete the top 10. This is crucial, Paul. Tommy Holman knew what he had to do. He swept the weekend. Yokohama pole award, won his heat, dominated the feature. Robertson and Ollikainen, to their credit, fought back, but the points will swing to Holman's favor. Robertson and Ollikainen managed to minimize the damage.
Yeah, certainly, and Holman right now, he couldn't have asked of anything better than this round of the championship, and to have Robertson and Ollikainen have the issues that they had out there, that has really helped him in his championship run. Of course, Robertson and Ollikainen, great champions drives right there to move back through this field. It wasn't easy out there today.
We're going to step away for a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere, though. Post-race coverage, post-race interviews coming up on the iRacing Esports Network. You're watching the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama.
2018, Nitro Rallycross took the racing world by storm with the biggest jumps, the best drivers, and the most intense action ever. In 2021, Nitro Rallycross is expanding with 5 epic races. From the mountains to the Great Lakes, the desert, and the Sunshine State, Nitro Rallycross is coming to a racetrack near you. Nitro Rallycross, the series, revving up and taking off this September.
Welcome back to Hell Lankebanen for post-race coverage for the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. Here for the action, here from the depths of hell. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. Alongside for all of the action is Paul Smith, with Tylem Action controlling the action from the virtual production truck. Well, Paul, I'm still trying to catch my breath and recover my voice from what we've just seen. Incredible chaos. Ultimately, though, Tommy Holman, coolest man on the track, the Flying Finn, wins once more in 2021. Be very interesting to see what the live point situations look like heading back to the States of the US.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. So John Robertson has actually been able to gain an advantage over Joni Ollikainen here today. So actually this championship lead does pull away. However, Tommy Holman now just 23 points behind. It's tightening up as that championship. We could say goodbye. I'm pretty confident in saying goodbye to Johan Harf's championship defense here, because 59 points is one heck of a points difference to overhaul here in the final few rounds of the championship.
Only 3 races left to go, and with 29 points available week in, week out, it means Harf might be eliminated from mathematical possibilities next time out from Phoenix Raceway. Should also say, shout out to Jarno Leskinen. What a drive from the 13-year-old to get his first career podium. He's closed the gap in the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year point standings to Kevin Ellis Jr. And of course, our Dirtfish Rookie of the Year winner will receive a complimentary 3-day course from Dirtfish, the official rallying school of iRacing Rallycross. Well, we're trying to wait and dial up all of our post-race interviewees here. I'm sure plenty of excitement on the part of Garrett Maines and Jarno Leskinen trying to get getting their first Rallycross World Championship career podium. But let's take the time to speak to our winner here, Tommy Holman. Victorious once more. It becomes now his 5th career victory, his 3rd in 2021. Tommy, you dominated here. You've closed the points gap to the leader, John Robertson, by 10 points. You must be pretty excited about how this European swing of races have gone. Next time, though, we head back to the US. We're at Phoenix in 7 days' time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, the European rounds were quite good. The branch hatch wasn't perfect, but the last 2 was really good, and I'm really happy. And yeah, I think the next couple of rounds will suit me as well. Phoenix and Sonoma have been strong for me usually, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to them. And it's important to get the points or get the gap a bit smaller to the leading drivers. But yeah, it's so unlucky for Jonne in the heat with the start. I don't know really what to say about that. I hope that they can give him at least something back from with the points of the heat, because that's really nothing he can do. But yeah, let's see what happens.
What's it about this track that creates so much excitement, Tommy? Because it might be the most physical of the races we've had here in 2021. And I know that you had success here last year. You, of course, won our 2nd race. You didn't even make it, though, to the feature in the 1st race last year in the season opener. What's changed as well for you since then? Clearly, you're continuing to just grow and grow in this series. You're looking increasingly comfortable out there.
Yeah, the 1st race last year was totally my own fault. I took the jump start in the heat, so that pretty much cost me the chances for the feature race. But I've always had quite good pace here, and I think it's turn 4 in the bottom, the gravel right with the big curb in the inside. That's the most important place of the track, and if you can nail that in the qualifying, I think then things are looking very good. And I think I did quite solid qualifying now, and also in the heat I was able to drive decent laps. So in the feature I wasn't having so much pressure from behind, but obviously it's easy to make a mistake like John did in the heat with spinning in the same corner. So it's always difficult, but I think now it was more or less about my own driving.
And now, like you said, heading back to the US, you think these European tracks suit you, but Phoenix, Sonoma, and then Charlotte to close things off. You're 23 points behind Robertson, still plenty of racing to go. How confident are you about trying to close him down for this championship? Very impressive last year. Can you get one step closer here in 2021?
For sure, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm really trying hard to get the win of the series this year. But it's not easy for sure. I think the gap is still quite big, but I'm decent that the pace will be good in Phoenix and also in Sonoma. So it's looking okay. It's looking okay. So yeah, let's see. But to be honest, I will try my best.
Congratulations, Tommy. Great drive from you. Looking forward to seeing you then in 7 days' time for more Rallycross action.
Thanks, and thanks to my team and sponsors. Thank you.
So that was winner from Hell, our first multi-time winner. It was Tommy Holman. Standing by now with the Elliott Sadler Esports OfferPad Subaru driver of Garrett Mains, Paul Smith, take it away.
Well, Garrett, how's that then? Get yourself onto the podium here today at Hell, and it looked like you had some really good pace out there all evening.
Yeah, definitely didn't start off the way I wanted it to in qualifying. I just didn't get the cut right. Definitely wasn't having my best heat ever either. But, you know, I decided there at the end to try to go conservative, and I got myself into the feature, and I was not expecting to be able to hold second, but held on to it for a while. And that one little mistake when they were all going Joker, I got tagged when everybody went Joker, and that gave me just enough of a boost to get sideways, lose that time to Jarno there. But first podium, like this wasn't a track I thought it would come at, so it's really cool to get it done today.
Well, we saw that when we were covering the footage, you know, we saw the focus on your face there, the real concentration. There's a few drivers that really sort of look like they're on a Sunday drive with the way they drive. You were just fully focused out there today.
Yeah, I can just tell you, when you have the fastest people on the service in Rallycross breathing down your neck, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking, especially when I haven't been in that situation all year. It's cool to finally make the feature. I've been so close so many times. I think I finished probably second in the Consi like 2 or 3 times this year already. So it's pretty brutal, some of the things that just haven't gone our way. But, you know, this was kind of a lucky day for us because it wasn't expected. But we apparently had the race pace, and that was cool to be able to showcase. Track position obviously plays a part, but we had a pretty good starting spot there, so worked out.
Well, I mean, you know, let's talk about the season then. As you say, it's your first podium of the season. Elliott Sadler Esports, you're representing here. You know, how have you been finding this season? Because it's looked brutal at times from the outside.
You know, my opinion, I just wish we could like have a semifinal so that there would be that incentive to be a little nicer going into turn one. Because I mean, a lot of times I think you see it all season long. The leader gets a good start if they do, and then they pull away. And then second place, if they get punted, it's a free for all. Like everybody's trying to just run over each other to get that spot. Because, you know, if fourth place thinks they have a shot, they're going to screw third, and then they get to battling, and it's a wreck. And it's even worse when it's only the leader in the Consi. So it's a toss-up, and I've been right there in that, like, you know, 8th to 15th range all season, which is right where everyone's like running each other over. And it's just, you know, you have to go. Like, if you don't go, you get forced into going, and then you're wrecked. So it's kind of a hornet's nest, but, you know, I'm hoping that we can see some changes in the future for formats, and I think it'll be great. Like, there's lots of rallycross races that you can have on here that are fantastic battles. These are some of the most fun cars to drive. So, and obviously you saw that in the feature. You've seen it in the feature a lot this season because you race with respect. Everybody's racing for a position that matters, and I think that makes a huge difference. So it's really cool.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here, Garrett, and congratulations, podium finisher here today for Elliott Sadler Esports.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And I got to give a shout out to OfferPad, Smithfield, Linux, everybody at Elliott Sadler Esports for all their support this year. squeaked into the Coke Series. Going to try to do it again in the Rallycross season. I think I just looked at the broadcast. We're sitting 11th, so it's not where I expected, but that's cool.
You can tell when somebody's media changed, but congratulations, Garrett. Take it easy.
All appropriate sponsors getting shouted out there. And let's bring in potentially history-making podium for Jarno Leskinen, 13 years young, and now a podium winner. When I talked to you, Jarno, coming into this one, we did joke that maybe you getting on the podium would make it a bit of a struggle. I don't speak Finnish. I know your English is still continuing to improve, but tell us just how excited you are about getting this podium here today.
It was just amazing. I didn't realize that the gap is to mains is that small, and I just took I get like P5 or something. I didn't even understand that the gap is that small, and it's just amazing.
This season has been kind of a roller coaster for you. You got feature appearances right off the bat at Daytona, then kind of got bullied by some of the veterans. I think Johan Harth very much welcomed you to Rallycross, bumping you over the jump. Feature in Atlanta after that. You missed out though in Iowa, made it back for Brands Hatch, missed it in Barcelona. How has it been competing here? I know you have lots of support from the entire Hanson Williams Esports team.
It's great training with Josh, and it's just, I don't know, the Barcelona and Iowa wasn't good tracks for me, but yeah, it's just amazing that I got that many final, and yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about your family as well, because I know your father is a big part of your sim racing career. He's part of sim racing as well. He works on projects within sim racing. You've also got a European champion who helps you out in Matti Alamäki. How much support do you have from your family? How much are you guys going to celebrate now with this second place result?
Yeah, it's hard to tell about it because my English is that bad, but it's much support that I get, and I was out of the school today and all of the Wednesdays, and because the race is on 12 a.m. on my time, but yeah, it's just amazing that I have that many supporters and that good supporters.
Congratulations, Jarno. I won't bug you too much more because I know your English is still developing. Congratulations. You had an amazing drive here. You're still in with a shout of the Rookie of the Year, the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year Championship. Hopefully this run continues. 3 races left in 2021.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was Jarno Leskinen, potentially the youngest ever podium finisher in not just Rallycross World Championship history, but iRacing World Championship history. Paul, 2 first-time podium winners, incredible stuff. I mean, 3 races left to go. Yes, this was the most chaotic of the races we've seen so far, but I'm really looking forward to what we've got left in store. Back to the US we go. Phoenix, Sonoma, and Charlotte. I know you've got a soft spot for Sonoma.
Oh, I love Sonoma. Wine country, absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's such a brilliant flowing track there, and it's absolutely fantastic. And well, we're into the final stretch now, the final third of the championship. This is where the big points and the big drivers need to step up.
And I'm going to put you on the spot here, Paul. You have to pick who you think is going to win this championship. Basically 3 contenders. I think you're right. Unfortunately for Johan Harth, qualifying hasn't gone so well for him, despite the fact that that's been one of his strong suits in the previous 3 seasons he's competed here. He's basically eliminated from championship possibility. Holman is looking strong and really coming on strong. Robertson, still consistent, still able to work his way forward. Ollikainen, always calm, always cool. 3 very worthy championship hopefuls. Only one will be crowned a world champion.
Yeah, Holman's having a really good second half to the season now. He's really coming on strong. The question is, though, is John Robertson going to have a blip, or was this his blip? Because, I mean, really, you know, it looked like it was going to be a bad race for him starting on the back row of the grid. Well, he's found himself just outside of the podium here in the feature race, so definitely it's going to be intriguing to see how that final third of the season goes.
Well, it's time to wrap up from Lankebanen with round 6 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama in the books. Just 3 rounds are left in the 2021 World Championship, and it's all to play for. The World Championship action continues tomorrow on the iRacing Esports Network as the Force Dynamics Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship heads to America's National Park of Speed, where Road America will host the 7th round in 2021 tomorrow. Catch the action at 7 p.m. UTC or 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back in 7 days' time as the virtual paddock heads back stateside and into the desert to the Phoenix Raceway for round 7 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship on November 3rd. Until then, we'd like to thank you for joining us on the iRacing Esports Network. On behalf of the entire team at iRacing, for Dougie Beard providing all of our cameras, for our production team, Tyler Maxton, Joshua Lee, Ryan Bauer, for my co-commentator Paul Smith, my name is Arjuna Kankipati. Congratulations to Tommy Holman, winner from the depths of hell.